I'm Rick Algert. I'm the harbor director for the city of Morro Bay. Well, and maybe I'll tell them, I mean, my dad was born in La Jolla in 1920, and I was raised, he had 3 brothers and a sister, and I was raised hearing stories about what it was like to grow up in La Jolla, which was really rural San Diego. I mean, it was a trip to get to San Diego back in those days, and what it was like for them to grow up in La Jolla from 1910 to 1930s, and you know, that was, I felt like a treat to understand what California was like before really much development at all, and so although yeah, it certainly has changed a lot in my lifetime in California, I still think there's so many beautiful parts of the state. Morro Bay is a great example of a place that really isn't a lot different than what it was in 1960. And we just feel like we have a treasure here. I mean, if you come to town and you get stuck at a stoplight behind a car, that's traffic for us. So yeah, one of the things, I've been here 20 years, and I wished I would have kept better track of all the characters and people that have run through our office, because it's just a fantastic group of personalities. You've got the fishing industry, and I remember 20 years ago, one of the first guys I met was a guy that everybody called One Trip Dave, because he was a crew always on one trip, and the guy who was running the boat at the time would get back and throw his stuff off and say, "Don't ever come back." But it was hard to find crews, so he usually found another trip. But over the years, I've probably seen 5 or 6 people we know lost their lives here. And see you, Tom. Lost your lives here in the fishing industry. Those are sad things. I remember, again, probably about 18 years ago, a good friend of our chief harbor patrol officers at the time, big guy named Dick Ennis, that would have this little dog that he would take everywhere with him, had a albacore boat, and he would go off on the mid-Pacific fishery. It was about a 20-day trip to get out to mid-Pacific to fish for albacore. Dick came in one day to say goodbye to Dick Ennis came in to say goodbye to Dick Rogers, and they had a great talk, and about 6 days later we got a call that the boat had turned over and they'd never found Dick. And so there's lots of stories. Just last year we lost, you get me going on sort of grimmer stuff. Just last year we lost one of our old families, young guy, 45-year-old guy, fell overboard and got pulled overboard by his gear in the middle of the night. And so there's a lot of ups and downs in this business, but we still have people here that are working really hard, trying to produce food, and a lot of agriculture here too, along with the seafood industry, and so that part is sort of like old California too.